You're listening to Kizuki, the podcast. I'm Mae Yoshikawa, and I define the Japanese concept of Kizuki as the following. Kizuki 1. A moment of epiphany, an aha of realization or insight which opens the knower to a new dimension of truth that was formerly unknown. 2. Steps in an incremental growth of awareness, resulting in a movement from ignorance to greater awareness of the bigger picture. A kind of knowing that cannot be undone, that cannot be unrealized. As a longtime yoga and meditation practitioner, a world traveler, and curious self-explorer, I'm obsessed with Kizukis. Listen on each week for inspiring and enlightening stories that may just tip you over for your next aha. On this week's episode, what you quit. This week's Kizuki, your moment of realization, aha, the epiphany, the shift, comes at a slightly different angle than I usually talk about. Usually it's like Kizuki, a moment of realization that shifts the way that I see and perceive the world, and hopefully the way that you listeners might see and experience yourself and the world around you. However, this week, it's kind of like a slow replay in hindsight. It's something that I didn't realize for many, many years, although it's so true. And then recently, there was a quote that jumped out at me, and then I applied it to look back on my life in the past years, and it made me think, that might be truer than we think. This is the quote. I read it in a book called The Plant Paradox, written by a medical doctor, Dr. Steve Gundry, and it's about a lectin-free diet. So if any of you are interested in greater health and wellness and healing certain diseases, I thought it was a terrific book. Now, the quote is this. He says, "Rule number 1, what you don't eat is more important than what you do eat." And it's so important that he repeats it, and I'm going to repeat it to you. What you don't eat is more important than what you do eat. In his line of thinking, it goes to impress that if you keep eating poison, say, if you keep eating something that's not good for you, that is creating imbalances in your body, no matter how much good stuff you eat, it's just not going to help your body to heal or to rebalance itself. And I got to thinking, what about in life, in daily life, with habits and habits of thinking and choices that we make? What if we think this way? What you quit is more important than the new things, the new good things that you start. I was thinking about this because I was in conversation with my sister yesterday, reflecting back on the two biggest things that I quit in my life that were hardest to quit. Are you ready for this, listeners? The two massive things that I can legitimately say that I'm done with and I quit, that were hardest to quit were, 1, cigarettes. Yeah. Way back when I used to smoke Lucky Strikes. Ooh, it's like weird to even say that now. Number 2, self-criticism. Now, for the first one, hopefully you guys aren't smokers, and if you were, then it might inspire you to give another go at quitting, or if not, then just enjoy what you do. But number 2 is probably the one that's really gonna hit hard for a lot of people, because a lot of us live with bucket loads of self-criticism in our minds daily on repeat. Where do they come from? How do they continue the cyclic patterns, the momentum? It seems and feels like a ceaseless, relentless, wave after wave pattern of not being able to shed. I'm not good enough. I should do more. I need to try harder. How can I prove myself? Am I not worthy? For most of us, myself included, we begin to gain some awareness around these thoughts and thought patterns that are self-critical and that are working against us. Because it's like swimming against the current in daily life if you can't have your own back, right? Because a lot of times, no matter how many people in how many ways tell you, hey, it's okay, you're great, actually, you're wonderful. Oh, on some days, maybe you might let some of those comments in. But on many other days, if you're anything like me, and this was me for many, many years, okay, I just couldn't let it in. I didn't believe it. I couldn't buy into it when people told me that I was great. Because my heart's bottom line was, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not beautiful. And somehow, in some ways, I just have to keep trying harder and harder and harder and harder to prove my place in the world. Therefore, from my eyes, the world looked like a cold place. And it was a hard life to live. So it was through my practice of yoga and meditation and journaling, coming to this realization that I was harboring such thoughts unintentionally in my own mind, that I slowly began to step back, step away from its cyclic momentum and begin to just gently prod, inquire, is that true? Is that really true? Or, as the beloved author Byron Katie says, can you know that it's absolutely, completely, always true, 100%? And the answer is no. And in such a way, we begin to gently pry open the doors that were slammed shut in our hearts, to begin to allow a little bit of openness, softness, to consider otherwise. That maybe it's not so true that I am not enough. So listeners, I want you to take a moment to look back on your life and think, what are some of the things that you quit in the past that helped you to become who you are today? Because surely there were things that you had to quit, whether in action and behavior and habits, or in habits of thought and emotions on the inside. Some things must be released and let go before you create space for the new to enter. And it's really interesting to take a deep look at that, because a lot of times we skip over them and we forget about the things that we quit. But this could actually be a part of really affirming your power, your ability to let go. And the ability to let go, of course, is the engine that allows you to take in the new. And once you take that perspective on the past years of your life, then I invite you to take a moment in the present, now, What might I quit to create space for the new? Thank you for listening. Learn more about me and my Kizuki Journaling Mae method at my website, kizukijournaling.com. That's KIZUKIJOURNALING.com. Or find me on Instagram at MAEYOSHIKAWA.